Being a trader with ungodly levels of patience requires you to only do some very basic things. And the first thing, it starts with you having a trading approach where you know exactly what you're looking for. And then number two, using trading view alerts to let you know when a trading setup is ready to be traded. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to teach you this from scratch. I'm going to teach you how you can no longer have to be a trader that does not have patience, that jumps the gun too early, that enters trades too quickly, enters late after price has already gone away from an area you wanted to enter, closes a trade early because they're impatient and doesn't have the patience to hold it to fruition. I'm going to help you solve all that here with this video. Now, I teach a lot of this in more detail and context in my free training course. The link's in the description. It's just a free course where I've kind of put everything together for exactly how I trade and show you how to do it and track your trades as well. So that link will be in the description. But in this video, we're going to focus on the patience part. Now, I'll give you an example. This is the way that I trade. Whenever price comes into a resistance zone on the weekly time frame, the daily time frame, I just kind of put all the higher time frames together. Generally speaking, I will sell. Okay, and I'll just sell at the resistance zone with a stop above and a target somewhere below it. It's usually just a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. And what I'll do sometimes is I'll notice that as price is coming into the zone, it won't quite get all the way into the zone where I'd like to enter. Okay, so let's say that like price has bounced at this zone before and it bounced way up here in the zone, and it came again and bounced way up here, and then now it's coming up into the zone for a third time where I'd be looking to enter a sell at, but it hasn't quite got to the region of the zone where I really want to enter, the area that's most optimal, right? Because if I enter up here and my stop loss goes there, my target only has to go right here because I trade with 1-to-1s. If I enter as soon as price gets into the zone down here, my entry has to be there. Well, to give the stop plenty of distance above the zone, it has to be all the way up here. And that means my target has to extend, and then I just have to wait longer, because what happens if price goes into the zone where I originally thought it would go to before I could have entered, right? Instead, it's halfway to the stop loss. And now I'm sitting around in a trade that may still end up going in a profit, but it just takes way longer. Or it still ends up going to the stop loss and it still took longer and I paid more swaps and higher commissions. So being patient in trading just relies on knowing exactly what you're looking for. So exactly what I'm looking for is what I'm going to show you this week here in a couple pairs. We're going to show you this. I'm going to show you all the trades I'm in right now and what I think is, not likely to happen, but what I think is good enough trades to be in. Trades that I'm in right now, I'll show you those and then show you how you can do this for yourself. So I'm going to clear all these drawings. We're going to start from scratch here on NZDJPY. So I'm currently short on NZDJPY. And let me actually show you my actual position here. So this is what it looks like right now. I'm short on AEDJPY and NZDJPY. We're going to break these down nice and easy here. This is what it looked like on Friday, but the market's just opened here a couple hours ago, so we're still having high spreads and stuff. So I'm short on NZDJPY. This was on the 26th of this month. And this is now the 30th, so right 4 days ago, so last week. And if you'll see, things are structured very, very simply. Right, I have a resistance zone where price has gone into. We're here on the weekly chart. And I've just opted to sell here at this zone with a stop loss above and a target below. And I'm risking an amount that I'm comfortable with, $30,000 for this one. I have millions of dollars of trading capital allocated between Forex and cryptocurrency and stocks. And so I just I risk a small percentage of that capital, in this case, 30K. And then I was in this trade, and this is what it is, the time I entered it. Now, another similar trade I took is AEDJPY. And we'll go to TradingView here in a second and break all these down, but I just want you to look at the simplicity here for a second. Price came to a recent high here in this resistance zone where it's had really big bounces before. Then I just sold with a stop above and a target below. Whenever you know exactly what you're looking for, you don't have to play the kinds of games that most people fall victim to. You don't have to engage in all these different kinds of mental gymnastics and a series of abstractions that lead you to virtually nowhere. You can just look at the chart and you know exactly what to do because you know exactly what you're waiting for. Now, knowing exactly what to do and then waiting for that thing to happen before taking an action are two different things. And that is why I just use TradingView alerts. So for example, I'll show you what happened on NZDJPY and AEDJPY. NZDJPY, when I saw this last week, price was like down here and it was starting to come up into this resistance zone. So I had a resistance zone right here, and it's still here. I've just cleared the drawings off, but I'll redraw it. Why did I put a resistance zone there? It's just because this is a weekly chart. Price has had a couple really big bounces here in this zone, And I knew that if price gets here into these extremes where price has had all these little wicks pinning deep into the zone, then I can enter a trade right there. And then if it breaks above, I'll be out really quick and I'll be wrong and I'll lose 25K, 30K, 50K, however much it was, that I risked on this one. And then what will happen if I'm right is it'll fall, and then relatively quickly I'll get the profit target met. I'll make 25K or 30K. So since I know exactly what to look for, what I do is I use TradingView alerts. So this is the hourly chart. So let's go ahead and use the replay mode. We'll start a new one. We'll go here to, where it was last week. So when price got into the lowest region of this zone last week, you'll know that further back here, price went really deep into this zone, right? It went really a lot further, but price was only right here. So I had the opportunity. I can sell right here along these highs, or I can sell right here along these highs, and I can have a stop loss that's way far above the zone and then a target at even further than I would if I just wait. Or I can just simply wait for price to get deeper into the zone, and then when it gets deeper into the zone, I can enter there. This is how you go about actually implementing a practical level of patience. You just set a TradingView alert, right? So in this case, it's not going to let me because I'm in replay, but when you click that, whenever you're in the live market, right, you can click set alert, you'll go. We'll draw a horizontal line. We'll say that right there is where the alert is. So with the alert being right there, we know that if price gets up into there, we'll get a TradingView alert. No matter what we're doing, we don't ever have to look at this again until it gets to that region where the alert is. So price gets to the region where the alert is, enter a sell, stop above and a target below. And then whatever happens, happens, right? As we played through this forward, it went into drawdown, and then it went into profit, and then it went into drawdown, and now it's trying to go back into profit right now. And you'll notice that there's very little work involved as long as you know exactly what you're looking for. Now, again, I teach exactly what to look for in the free training, link in the description. It's not complicated. And there's not any mysteries, right? I don't leave anything out. I just teach it all. It's all for free. You can learn it all for free. It's about an hour-long video. And I'm now in this trade, and that is NZDJPY. So let's talk about AUDJPY. So this is the one I risked 25K on, right? So almost $50,000 between both of these trades. You'll see that for AUDJPY, when price came here up into this zone, I got an alert triggered last week, and then I just simply entered a sell when price came up here into this zone. I also sold last week, and then when I sold, price came into profit, and I closed it. This was not last week, but the week before that. So about a week and a half ago from this exact moment. And I closed that in profit, and it came right back up into this zone, a deeper little push here into the zone, and I entered again. Now, how would I set the alert? This is all I do. I just go over here to this little plus sign on TradingView. I click the plus sign, then I click add alert. And now I do not have to look at this ever again until that alert gets triggered. And that's how you actually implement a practical level of patience, right? You know what you're looking for, and then you combine that with forcing yourself to be patient by setting an alert and then just going to the next pair and not even looking at it unless you get that alert play out, right? Now, practically speaking, right, you could have price come up here into the zone but not hit the alert, right? It could go close to it and then fall away, and then you end up missing a trade, but that's okay because it's better to keep your money in your pocket and not put any risk on the market unless you can get an optimal entry at a level where price is, that's the moment it's going to bounce or not. So you just have a better risk structure if you wait for entries like that. And in this case, you'll look at it, say like a week later, like Sunday, like it's Sunday night right now and I'm looking at charts, or Monday morning, or whenever it is you do your analysis. And then you can reorient, right? You can say, okay, I'm going to set an alert down here. I'm going to wait for that. And if price comes there, I'll try to buy at those lows, or I'll try to buy at these lows, or whatever it is your trading strategy is, right? You could be using indicators or some other sort of different trading approach. You can just set an alert at the location in which you're looking to enter a trade, whether that's a buy or a sell. And then after you set that alert, don't look at it. Leave it alone. There's plenty of trades you're going to miss, but the trades that you do take will be high quality. And it's because you're implementing this idea of patience. I'm going to show you how simple my trading approach is because we're just going to click through here again. You can see GBP JPY last week. I was also looking to sell this, but I was looking to sell right here at a really good entry along the high. I did not enter this last week. I didn't take any trades because it hasn't come up to the alert. So I don't even really need to look at this unless that alert's triggered. I'm not going to play any games and get some FOMO and start entering down here and mess up the risk structure and make the target even further just to watch it turn around and go all the way to the area that I would have entered, but now instead of getting a good entry there, I'm in drawdown. I'm waiting until it gets to that area. GBP AUD. I entered this trade and it hit target last week. So well, no, this one didn't hit target. GBP CAD is the one that hit target. Price came here into the support zone. What am I looking at? So, yeah, it was GBP Canadian dollar. There was, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so it was this right here. So I sold here at this resistance zone, and then it fell and it hit the profit target pretty quickly. GBP AUD, I also got into this zone. This is one of the zones where I sold right here at this resistance level. It came above the zone, stopped me out, and then when it came back and retested, I just re-entered and that went into profit, and I closed it a little bit of profit at the end of the prior week and a half ago. And I just do the same thing over and over again. You'll see that I just have alerts at these major support resistance zones where prices had big bounces, and I'm just patient. And I only get anywhere from like 2 to 4 trades a week. Some weeks are great. I'll get 5, 6, 7 trades. Other weeks I'll get like 0 to maybe 1 trade if I'm lucky. And I just wait for price to get to the regions where I think they're going to bounce. This is the one I was talking about. It was not GBP CAD, it was GBP NZD. This is what it was. Price came up into this zone. I had an alert right here around the previous high. When it got there, I entered a sell with a stop loss above the zone and a target at 1-to-1. And then within a couple hours, it had fallen to the profit target. And it was very, very plain and simple, right? I didn't jump the gun. I didn't enter lower. I didn't wait for confirmation, because imagine if you're waiting for a confirmation, by the time, even on the daily chart, it hits the zone, it comes back, price is closed down here. Now you're having to enter at an even worse price with a stop loss that's further and then a profit target even further just to get a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Everything messes up if you don't wait for good entries, and you can have an ungodly level of patience by number 1, knowing exactly what to look for, and number 2, just setting an alert. I hope you liked this video. If you did, I'm not going to ask you to like the video or comment. You're an adult. You can choose to do that if you want. But if you watch any of my next videos, I will see you in the next video, my friend. I hope you have a great trading week, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.